Hi friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenna, if this is the first video of mine that you have seen. Now, I have been a work from home employee specifically for the last almost 3 years now, but my life has always been oriented around remote work. Even before the current role that I hold, it was either hybrid work. I sometimes worked remotely while I was in school as well. I worked remotely while I was studying abroad, and I attended an online high school. So I think that I am pretty qualified to say that I have a few hacks, some tips and tricks in terms of how to stay motivated and how to stay productive when working from home. So I have 10 specifically that are top of mind that I would love to share with you today if you are entering into your own work from home setup or situation, or you're already deep in it and you want to kind of optimize your schedule. So let's talk about it. So the first is pretty basic, but it has to be said, and that is get ready every single day when you work from home. Now that may sound kind of basic and a yeah duh moment, but it can be really easy to start off motivated and do your hair, do your makeup, wear a nice outfit, and then after weeks or months, or you're more comfortable, to kind of shift into lounge clothes, especially when you're working from home and only your face or your torso is being seen. You can wear sweatpants, you can wear slippers, you can wear whatever you want. And of course, it is more on the comfy side than it would be going in person to a job, but get ready every single day. It will do wonders for your mindset. Number 2 is to have a work startup routine. It can be very short and simple, and a work shutdown routine. So specifically what this looks like can be totally dependent on your job and your role, but it will help you really set things up neatly and organized from the jump. And so you want to have, I would say, no more than 5 tasks that you include in your startup and your shutdown routine. For me, what that kind of looks like is I will first hop on a daily call with my team that lasts for about 15 minutes. It's the first thing we do as a team as part of our workday. That's not always super common, but then after that, I will check all of my Gmail accounts, my work account and my personal account. I'll check all of my Gmail accounts, and then I will organize my day within a project management software. I will check notifications in a separate project management software, and then I will be ready for the day. I sometimes also put a LinkedIn post in that morning routine depending on how the day looks, but just keep it something short and simple, something that you know every single day you're going to hit these boxes. My work shutdown routine looks like logging time for the day, because we do track all of our time as a creative agency. So I'm logging time at the end of the day. I'm checking those emails and notifications again. So at the beginning of the day and at the tail end, making sure that everything is cleared, all bases are covered, and closing all tabs too. It is a little bit of a nightmare when you open your laptop for the day, and this could just be for anything as well. When you see all of yesterday's tabs open, it just starts the day cluttered. So have a little work startup and a work shutdown routine. Make it unique to you and make it no more than 5 tasks. The third thing that I do is I use, and I go back and forth between these two things, Trello and or Notion for task tracking. And so my company uses a project management software called ClickUp for task tracking. So that is very helpful to use as well. But specifically for my own task tracking, there can be things that aren't necessarily kept or tracked by a project manager within that. Small little things of like, hey, do you think you can schedule this meeting? Hey, do you think you can do this? This again is kind of just a work productivity thing. But when you are working from home, you are very self-accountable to the things that you are assigned, and there isn't as many check-ins throughout the day with coworkers that might give you reminders to do certain things, if that makes sense. So you have to be very self-motivated, very on top of the tasks that you are given. And so I have found that just keeping track of those requests as they come in in Trello, in Notion, whatever project management software or productivity tracking software looks the best to you or feels the most intuitive to you, I would definitely lean into that because it has been so powerful for myself. While I was editing this, I actually realized that I forgot point number 4. Just went 3 straight to 5. So number 4 is to time block types of tasks by day. And what I mean by that is you will usually be working on multiple different types of tasks or initiatives. It's possible that you aren't, but I think that this could be used for a wide breadth and variety of jobs and positions, is that if you have natures of tasks, so for example, because I work in marketing, you could do this by client type. Maybe you have a few major accounts that you work on. So Thursdays, you always work on one specific account. Tuesdays, you work on a separate account. Maybe you're managing different projects at a time, or the nature of your work is to manage maybe internal marketing for your own company. And so you can break that out by email campaigns, by newsletters that you manage, however you need to. This is very marketing heavy perspective, obviously. And this again is kind of a productivity tip in general, just for working professionals, but it has been so helpful for myself personally, is to just say, okay, on this day, I'm going to do this kind of task. On this day, I'm going to do a separate kind of task. And then I know when I can schedule things, when I will get to things, and how I can estimate my time accordingly. So that is tip number 4. Number 5 is having a designated workspace. Now, I am in my office. I am lucky enough to have a designated room in our house that I can create as an office, but regardless about whether you have the room in your house to make a fully designated office or not, you can have a specific space that you go to for work. I never really spend any time in this room when I am not working, and so it helps me separate my work life from my home life, and it allows me to turn on for the day when I'm working, which allows me to be productive and in the right mindset, and allows me to turn off for the day when I exit out that door. So it is really helpful to have a designated space that you know this is where you work. Just like sleep experts say, don't do anything in your bed other than sleep, or in order to maintain healthy sleep habits. Same is true, I think, for work. Don't do anything else in your workspace that isn't work. And don't, if you can, bring your work to other places in the house, to your bedroom, to the living room. I do sometimes work outside, which is a beautiful benefit of working remotely, but just have that core space that you know that you can always center and return back to. Number 6 is getting out of the house at least one time per day. This is more so for mental health, but mental health will affect productivity. But I try, even when my day is loaded, to at least exit the house, go out, grab a coffee. I did that today, grabbed a little coffee, and just get out of the house, see people, because it can be a very isolating thing to work from home. And so that will help your mental health, which in turn will help your productivity. So just try to find a small little errand, even shorter the better, honestly, to just pop out, pop back in, to give you a little refresh and a restart. Number 7 is to time block on Google Calendar or whatever calendar you may use with your team to communicate your schedule with your team. So for example, my company really encourages this. If you have little things throughout the day, like you're dropping off your kids to childcare or to school, or you always take a break at a certain time, or an hour is kind of needs to be a focus hour for you. Block that on your calendar, because more communication will absolutely help. People know where to expect you and where to not expect you in the flow of your day. And so definitely block time out. I specifically put focus hours on my own calendar where I really need to get things done. And so I make sure that meetings are not scheduled for the most part during those blocks, and that helps tremendously. So the next thing, number 8, is something that my work has actually implemented on an organizational level, which I've really appreciated. So this will not be possible for every single structure, but largely you can kind of set your own workflow throughout the week. So you can absolutely do this to the greatest ability that you can, which is to set certain days of the week as maker days and certain days of the week as manager days. So what that means is that a manager day will be for meetings. You set meetings, you set nitty-gritty tasks that need kind of admin work, tasks that may be shorter in duration, that kind of can be distracted a little bit, and those fall on manager days. And then maker days, and so certain jobs will be more tending to be manager jobs. This is actually a Alex Hermosi principle that he really explored, but certain jobs can be more tending to be manager related jobs. Certain jobs need to be maker related jobs just by the nature of them. But often, like me, I have both needs within my work week. And so I actually schedule my manager days Monday, Thursday, my entire team does, and then our maker days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so maker days is for that deep focus work. It's for getting things done, and having that distribution of the week really helps when you know, okay, if I'm asked to do this task, I know it's going to take me about 5 hours. I can plop that over into a maker day. I know that my meeting schedule is going to be light or non-existent on that day, and I can use my time blocked focus time in order to get that done. So it really helps with task delegation and for personal estimates of your time and productivity. So 10-10 would recommend as much as you're able to implement that within your own schedule. All right, the next thing is audio stimulation. And this has to do with just knowing your personality and what helps you focus and concentrate. And so specifically for me, I love having background noise, but my role involves a ton of copywriting, critical thinking that sometimes lyrics can get in the way of. And so I have dialed into some lo-fi playlists, to some instrumental music, and that helps increase productivity for myself. So I would absolutely just know yourself, know whether you need to keep it low, whether you need some white noise, some brown noise. It just depends on your role and your personalities, but know both and know what helps you stay stimulated and engaged. For me, it's mostly lo-fi music, and depending on the task, it might be a good high quality podcast when I can do some kind of brainless work. But for the most part, I have very heady work, and so lo-fi works great for me. So just know yourself and really tune into what works well for you. So the last one, number 10, is actually for the work from home moms. So if you're not a work from home mom, this will not apply to you, but specifically it's how to stay productive when you have kids in the house. Now, I think it is really important to time block areas where you know it is most difficult with your kids throughout the workday, and use that either as your break time, or no, you need childcare during those times, whatever helps most for those really chaotic moments, because all time is not created equal throughout the workday in terms of how you will spend it, what your kids are doing. There's going to be nap times. There's going to be times when they're engaged in different activities where maybe you have a partial childcare situation happening, but I would just make sure to take note of the times where they're most difficult throughout the day, and either use that for your break, time block it on your calendar as a distracted period of time where you can't answer calls or schedule meetings, and then orient your day accordingly. The stations system really is key to make sure that you have them engaged in different areas throughout the house. And so that is the productivity tip number 1 that I would give for moms with small kids in the house, or it truly could be any kids of any age, but know where their stations are. First thing in the morning, do you put them in their high chair to eat breakfast for 20-30 minutes at a time, and then you can work on a distracted level task while they're eating their breakfast. And then when they have their nap, their afternoon nap, maybe they are taking multiple naps a day. For a little while, my boys were taking a morning and an afternoon nap. That would be your focus time blocks. And you know, okay, those time blocks are when I can get my deep work done because they're not awake. They won't be distracting me. And so it really just depends on having your kids in zones and time blocking yourself accordingly. I know in my own house that I can keep the boys engaged eating their breakfast, then I can move and shift them over, specifically my 3-year-old, over to the table for a little bit to do some hands-on time in the morning when his attention span is the best, and then they will get about an hour of screen time, and then they will move over into their playroom, which is right next to my office, and stay in their playroom for a little extra time. And then my 1-year-old goes down for his nap, and my 3-year-old continues on often playing outside for the next 30 minutes to an hour in the backyard while I am working from the couch and watching him from the backyard. So it really just depends on the kids you have at home, on your unique situation, but definitely Definitely take advantage of zones. Know that you can put your kids in different zones while you also concentrate throughout the day, and really just know what's difficult or possible for you, because it's going to be very difficult for certain jobs to have the kids at home at all. And so it really just depends on your unique situation, but I would so encourage having and knowing what zones you can put your kids in throughout the day. So those are my productivity and motivation hacks for working from home. I hope that you got a little something that you can use in this video for yourself. Thank you so much for watching it. It means so much to me that you did. If you liked it, please remember to give it a little thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel for content that might be similar to this in the future. I love talking about productivity, work from home hacks, all the things, especially for moms. So be sure to follow some of those work from home mom vlogs for really practical vlogs and hacks in the middle of your workday. It can be really helpful to see how someone else is doing it. So would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But for now, I will catch you on the next video. Bye friends.